Hi, guys. It's Dr. George, and it is Tuesday for Tucked In Tuesday. So you can go and put those comments in. And I have a very special guest that I call backstage, but she's really not backstage. She's just kind of there at the bottom a little bit. And I've been telling her how pretty she is the whole time since I saw her. Hi, Virtuous. And so I have to tell you a little story. So she is from New Orleans, and of course, I'm from Louisiana. So it's neat to have an author that I actually have a connection to. So I'll bring Miss Forman out. We have two books, of course, but I'll go ahead and bring Miss Forman out. Hi, Miss Forman. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. So I have your book, Meet Me in Your Dreams.
Meet you.
And
Sorry.
so, Meet You in Your Dreams. Sorry.
No
Meet
worries.
You in Your Dreams. Happy Tuesday. Hi, Joel, how are you? I love the picture, Virtuous. And so I have your book. So I always like to say, what inspired you to write your book?
Well, the book touches on special needs, and my pastors at my church have a special needs daughter, and that is the biggest thing that inspired it. Growing up, I think I always had a desire to connect with special needs people and to, I don't know, help other people, I think, see them in a good light and not have so much sympathy as much as empathy for them. And when I came to this particular church in LA, my pastors, just their faith in God and their joy despite having the challenges of a special needs daughter, just really inspired me. And there was a day where I just felt like this idea came in my head, and I honestly felt like God put it on my heart to write this story. And it's not her story, but it's just inspired by her. It's a fiction story. So
Love it. So you got Amber telling you, hi, hey, Hope.
hi Amber, thanks for watching.
So hi, Sakaya, hello. Let's see. Can't wait to hear the book from Hope Forman. You know Ashley Justice?
Yep.
So hello, Zakaya. So Lane and Ken are waving. So if you could give them a shout out. It's always like to hear their name.
Yeah, my little not really niece and nephew, my cousin's kids are watching, so that's exciting. But if my niece and nephews are watching, I did want to say happy birthday to my nephew Rexford. They might be joining tonight.
Oh, and yes, and if he joins in, make sure you hop in and tell him happy birthday. Hi, Alex from New York City. Hello, Alex. Hi, this is my friend Kylie from London. She jumps on. It's early in the morning there. And you got some love from Megan. Says she loves you so much. So we'll get started with the book. And I love your inspiration behind the book. And you have illustrated by, is it Dmitry Fedorov?
Fedorov. Yes.
Fedorov.
He's from Ukraine.
Ukraine. So tell us how you got an author from Ukraine. We hear this all the time.
I actually use this application called Upwork, where you can find people from all over the world. You can basically post what you're looking for, and it's all kinds of skills that people are searching for, and you post, what your requirements are, and they can apply for the job basically online. So that's how I
love that. Love that. I have a couple of people watching on my personal page, so I want to acknowledge them. Hi, Delvin. Hi, Kim and Calvin Denson. Another author says, great job on writing your book. Good evening, Rochelle. Hi, Dr. Knight. It's good to see you. Calvin Denson said, wow. And he said, happy birthday to your nephews as well.
Thank you.
So we will get started. The dedication. This book is dedicated to the beautiful Georgia. Is it Beach?
Yes.
And her loving parents, Chad and Julia, who are a shining example of faith, grace, joy, and strength, despite the obstacles life has thrown their way. Wow. And we got some shout outs here. She's tagging people. And awesome. Ashley's still tagging people. Bring them in, Ashley. All right, so here we go. There was once a boy named Ryder, whose world was about to grow wider. He started out in just a family of 3, along with his playful pet puppy. until mommy's belly began to grow and grow and grow. And soon a baby girl was nestling in their home. So I told Faith, I never read Hope.
Oh,
Hope.
okay. I have a sister named Faith. That happens literally all the time.
I told her, I said, I never read the books in advance. And so I'm already liking this book.
Thank you.
All eyes were on Sister, for she was gentle and fair, with skin soft as feathers and wavy brown hair. She was thoughtfully named Seraphina,
Yes.
and all were pleased with her demeanor. But there was soon another reason people looked baby's way, with looks that peered beyond her lovely face. For though her body grew, her mind did not, and speaking became a puzzle she couldn't unlock. Hi, Ezra, Ali, me, and Gigi. Do you know those people? I'll leave that up for a little while. If you want to say hello to them, you can.
Hi, Ezra. Are you eating your dinner? It's 5:30 in LA, so he's having dinner right now.
Oh, wow. Well, thanks, Dad, for giving her that. And hi, Mom. I know that's not your name, but hi, Mom. She's happy that you're there. And thanks, Dad, for taking care of the kids.
Yes.
After many trips to the doctor and not much getting better, the doctor dolefully said, she may live with this forever. Seraphina was then confined to a special chair, causing others to look on, often choosing to stare. Upon whispers and cries from his own mother's eyes, Ryder began to wonder, often asking why. This is a great book, by the way.
Yeah.
At his sister, he would stare, wondering all her secret thoughts. He placed flowers in her hair, braid by braid, lock by lock. And every night in Sister Seraphina and little Ryder's room, Mommy and Daddy would sit, crowned by the light of the moon. They say nighttime prayers, tucking them under the covers, reminding them each of their love for the other. Such a sweet family. And every night, just the same, Mommy would assuredly say, good night, my Seraphina. I will meet you in your dreams, where we can talk and dance and fly with angel wings. When all was quiet and Ryder's eyelids quite heavy, he sometimes caught Sister, eyes closed, with a grin, wide and steady. This is so sweet. I hope I can make it without crying. Then one day from school, Ryder came running, his eyes in tears and nose all running. Mommy, the kids all said Seraphina isn't normal, but different and funny. My sweet, sweet muffin, his mother replied. Not everyone can see a person for what's on the inside. Hi, Megan. What matters most is the love that we show and that we always hold on to hope. Perhaps Seraphina isn't like all the others, but know this, my love, you are her big brother. Whether or not she can speak, she can still hear, she can still see. Your daddy and I decided long ago we would not give in to fear in our home. Be strong, my dear Ryder. She looks up to you. Your life will be richer for having loved her too. But one night was different. Before Ryder fell asleep, he repeated the words his mother would often speak. Good night, Seraphina. I will meet you in your dreams, where we can talk and dance and fly with angel wings. Hi, Miss Fehrenbacher. The next morning, he awoke with the memory of a dream, but it felt more real than any other thing. He sat and pondered all the wonder he'd explored. Hi, Miss Partain. From oceans to mountains and midnight skies they soared. He and Seraphina together, hand in hand, danced around, discovering all the land. Hello, Barry. It's great to see you again. They rolled cotton candy clouds and unicorn backs. They even got to share all their favorite snacks. They swam with dolphins and whales through oceans and seas. They ran with cheetahs and tigers and climbed the tallest of trees. But what Ryder cherished most, above any other thing, was when he and Seraphina shared their wildest of dreams. And never before that moment had Ryder discovered such joy than that of Seraphina calling him Big Brother. It was then that Ryder realized deep down inside what they shared could somehow surpass space and time. Hi, Jennifer. Then, in a moment of stillness, what came hovering from above were two dazzling angels with golden wings and eyes of love. Without saying a word, yet with smiles warm and tender, they tossed sparkling dust for each child to remember that no matter what things look like on the outside, they'd always have their dreams to journey through the night. I see why you love that part, Megan. When Ryder was fully awake and recounted all he'd seen, he went to Seraphina's bed to quietly watch her dream. But what Ryder saw then came as quite a surprise. Seraphina looking at him with a grin and locked eyes. She then opened her fist to reveal a secret held inside. It was sparkling dust from their adventure through the night. The end. But it can't be that end because I feel some pages back here. Hi, Amber, Brandon, Baca, and Brooklyn. Pop and say hello and miss you. Oh, it is the end. There's some blank pages. Hi, Miss Procroca. So tell me where you can purchase this book. Where can you purchase this book?
Amazon, Barnes and Noble. It's also available as an ebook on Kobo.com. You can go to my website to find the links pretty easily. It's hopeforman.net. And there's no Forman.
No E in Forman, right?
Hopeforman.net.
We put it in there. Put it in the chat.
Thank you.
And Jacob Justice said, great book. Oh, that's me. Great book. So proud of you, Hope.
Thank you. Thank you, Jacob.
Mabry says, hello, Dr. George. I missed you too, Mabry. Hi, Janaya. So I'm going to put a little ticker at the bottom that tells them a little bit about your book while we're still talking about your book. Great. So tell me your favorite part of your book.
Definitely the dream sequence where they're on an adventure together. Probably when they're riding the unicorns.
Love that. Love that. We're going to talk more about your book. Hi, Gloria. But we have one other book we're going to read, and your book is so peaceful. It's kind of like I don't need to read anything else. But I'll read this book, and then we'll come back to yours. So my second book will be, Will Spring Be Early or Will Spring Be Late? And I'm late reading this because the groundhog kind of already did his job. But I'm going to read this book anyway. It's by Crockett Johnson, a very popular author. You've probably seen him. He's the author of Harold and the Purple Crayon, Harold at the North Pole. It's a series of Harold books. Now, he's not on here tonight, and this book was granted permission by Harper Collins, and just like Hope is on here, you can't read people's books online without their permission. That's how they sell their books. So always get their permission to read their books online. Got another comment. Ashley, 8-year-old, loves this book, was inspired by a real person. She also loves the unicorn part and the magic dust. Thank you, Ashley, for sharing that.
Thank you.
So let's see about spring. It was the second morning of February, which would make it February 2nd. The woods and fields were covered with snow. The wind blew from a cold gray sky. Now, we didn't get snow here, or did we, February 2nd? We did get a little winter storm. This is the day, said a voice from under the ground. This is the day I will make my prediction. Will spring be early or will spring be late? The voice came from a hole in the middle of the field. It was the groundhog coming up out of the tunnel, talking to himself. Still no groundhog yet. Hi, Karis. Elena, am I saying that right? Elena? Almost 10-year-old, loves the part where they're swinging on their dream. Oh, that sounds divine. If I don't see my shadow, spring will be early. I can go right out and spread the glad tidings. The groundhog's nose came up in the hole, pausing there. But if I do see my shadow, I will go back in my tunnel. It will mean bad news. Spring will be late this year. Oh my goodness. Hope, do you know if spring was spring early this year?
Got me.
The weather's so crazy, we don't even know right now. The groundhog shivered. How nice is it that I am expected to stay out only when I have good news, he said as he raised himself up and onto his front paws. Nobody wants to hear of a late spring. He looked at the gray sky. No shadows today, he said. Spring will be early. And there he is, little fellow. He hopped out of the hole. I must tell the animals. It will please them all, even the grouchy pig who sneers at my predictions. He started off and stopped. Wait, he said. Spring is an important matter. I must be certain there is no sun. I must make sure I have no shadow. Oh my goodness, I didn't know the groundhog stressed him out. It's bad. Oh, great job, Abby. This is my first time reading it. Tell me your favorite part, Abby. He tried to smell the sun. He raised his ears and listened for it, but all he smelled or heard was a truck on the road at the edge of the field. The road was beyond the end of the groundhog's world. He paid no attention to the truck or to the words on it that read Artificial Flower Company Incorporated. Hi, Miss Duke. I love springtime too. As the truck rounded a bend in the road, a red flower flew from it. The flower sailed high across the field on the wintry wind. No sun and no shadow. The groundhog was saying to himself as he examined the snow at his feet, but definitely in early spring. I just thought he made a decision. He's got a lot of thinking to do. Smiling, he set off toward the woods where most of the animals slept during the cold winter. How delighted they will be when I tell them, he said. My prediction will spread joy throughout the land. And he hopped along happily, humming a spring song. There's so much snow. Suddenly he halted. There, with its stem in the snow, was a bright red flower in full bloom. The groundhog stared at it. His eyes grew wide and his mouth open. Spring, he whispered. Then he shouted, Spring! It's here now! Oh my goodness. We all know it's the artificial flower, but let him have his moment. He broke into a run. I never have made a better prediction than this. Even the pig will congratulate me. He yelled through the woods. Spring is here, he shouted. Spring, said the badger. The groundhog said so. The dormouse cried, dancing around in the snow. Oh, goodness. And that's how rumors get started. Just like that. Spring, said the skunk. Is it really spring? The groundhog said so, said the rabbit, hopping with joy and skidding on a patch of ice. The irony. The squirrel stuffed the last of his acorns into his mouth. With a carefree cheer, he jumped from his hollow tree and landed in a snowdrift. But yet, spring is here. Abby says she doesn't remember her favorite part, but she likes that there is more spring because spring is her favorite season. I agree, Abby. Hi, Amanda. Spring, yelled the chipmunk. Thanks to the groundhog, the good predictor. Cheered the raccoon, holding out a paw as the groundhog ran by. Spring is here! The groundhog kept shouting in a voice that was becoming rather hoarse. I predict spring is here now! He ran on to the bear's cave. What do you think the bear is doing? What do you think the bear is doing, Hope?
Something tricky.
When the bear woke up and heard what the bear had wake up, what was he doing? He was hibernating. It was winter. Hi, Tiffany. When the bear woke up and heard what the groundhog was saying, he roared in delight. Groundhog, you do better every year. Spring in February, splendid. What would we do without you? I don't know, said the groundhog, swelling up his chest as he ran off. You're right, Miss Duke. No early spring here. At last he came to the pig. The shouting and cheering had waked the pig, and now he was grumpily rooting under a tree stump for breakfast. Spring, it is here, the groundhog shouted loudly in the pig's ear. Huh, said the pig. Spring, said the groundhog. With his mouth full of frozen roots, the pig turned around and glared at the groundhog. Look, he said, snorting and thrusting his snout toward the windswept field. Snow, ice. It's spring, said the groundhog, suddenly shivering. Go away, said the pig, and he went back to his rooting. My goodness, I'm about to tell you like it is. Brooklyn is in love with the books you read. Oh, great. Thank you, Brooklyn. The groundhog went back to the other animals. Spring really is here, he said. Come, let me show you. Of course spring is here, said the rabbit. You said so. You are always right, Bear said. If we were not, we wouldn't believe in you. Come, said the groundhog. Miss Duke, watch the lesson. Miss Ashley Duke, watch the lesson from this book. The animals followed him to the field where they saw the red flower in full bloom. It was more than they needed to see. They danced in a circle around it and shouted in the praise of spring and of the groundhog. The pig stopped rooting for breakfast and came over to see what was going on. These are good books, Miss Fehrenbacher. The happy animals watched him as he trotted up to the red flower. You see, the groundhog said, spring is here. Oh, great, Jack. Oh, great job, Jack. Said the pig, staring at the flower. Then he rooted it up out of the snow, took it in his mouth, and chomped on it. He tossed the flower aside. The leaves are paper. The stem is wire. The petals are plastic, he said. And the lot of you will freeze out here. As he left, he glanced at the sky and at the groundhog. I have a prediction to make, he said. It's going to snow. It began to snow. Shivering, the animals looked at the twisted flower, and they looked at one another. The groundhog began to creep away, quietly away. Just a moment, bellowed the bear. There is some explaining to be done. Who is the cause of this? Why are we out here in a freezing snowstorm? I feel bad for him. We were celebrating spring, said the chipmunk. We were all so happy, the dormouse said, until the pig came and chewed the flower. Precisely, shouted the bear. And now we're cold and miserable and ridiculous. It's perfectly clear who's to blame. Animals nodded. Yeah, I know, Mabry. They blamed the pig, of course. And on the second morning of every February, the groundhog continues to make his prediction. Will spring be early or will spring be late? And that's the end of that book. How cute is that? So, two great books. So I like to start with your book. We always do a takeaway from every book. So what is your, and it's always, the author always has a takeaway and then mine is way off, you know? And so what is your biggest takeaway from your book, Meet You in Your Dreams?
That it's, I don't want it to just be for special needs families. I want those who aren't even remotely special needs to understand that it's about loving those who are different. That's the biggest lesson, I think, for me.
Love that. My biggest takeaway from your book is sometimes we look at life and assume it is what it is, and there's no other way to get around our problems. But if we just take the time to focus on what could be, because in her dreams, she was totally mobile, and her brother didn't get to see that until he actually went into the dreams, and to let him know that his sister was way more brilliant than the kids had said. She even brought back a little fairy dust from the dream to let him know that I am okay. So she was like a little angel on earth. That's my takeaway from your book.
Thank you. I love that you said that, because that's kind of how I look at special needs people a lot, especially the ones who can't necessarily communicate with us humans, because I feel like they have a special language between them and God that we don't even know about, you know? So that's kind of what that part of the book is about.
Yes. And I love that in the book, she never talked. Like there was never a part where she actually talked, but her mobility was greater than any word that she could say. And as a kid, sometimes that's all they understand is they're not moving. And so that is a great book. Great job with that was a great book.
Thank you so
and
much.
Ellen said she loved that. And Amber said, oh, that is too sweet. This is a really good book. So the takeaway for will spring be early or will spring be late? What's your takeaway on this one?
You know, I'm honest. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little confused with why the pig got blamed in the end.
Yes.
'Cause it was really,
Go ahead.
wasn't it really his fault? It's not the pig's fault? I mean,
No.
obviously the pig was being rude, but
Or was he being rude? Was he being realistic?
well, that's true. He was being realistic. You're right.
Miss Pilgrim said, I think I love the pig. Of course you would. Fancy Pants. That's one of my teachers. I call her Fancy Pants. So my biggest takeaway with this book is everyone was okay. Everybody was perfectly fine, believing in something that wasn't even true. That
Mhm.
rose. They saw it. The groundhog saw it. The truck passed by, landed in the grass. He turned around, saw it. He missed everything that really was happening, and he believed what he wanted to believe. And he convinced everybody that what he was saying was absolutely true. Everything was absolutely true. And then when the pig came, and he was a realist. See, we don't like realists as adults. We don't. We
Mhm.
want people to kind of say, great job when it's an okay job.
Mhm.
So when the realist came along, just like in real life, even though everybody saw that the pig, the flower was not real, they still wanted to believe in, guess what? The good things in life, because nobody wants to see the bad things in life, even when they're right there in front of your
True.
face.
True.
That is my takeaway. I always get an adult lesson from every children's book. Every children's book has an adult lesson in it.
Mhm.
So thank you for this. Debbie said the pig showed the truth. And thank you, Tanaya. Um, Thank you. But I love this book. So tell them again where they can buy the book. I did put it in the comments. Where can they buy the book?
Amazon and Barnes and Noble, and you can easily find those links on my website at hopeforman.net.
So I'm going to ask you the question that I ask every single author. Is there more books? Will there be more books?
Yes, I have written a second, and I'm currently working on how I'm going to publish it. If I'm going to self-publish again, or if I'm going to go with a big company or a hybrid between the two.
Well, I think you have a skill to go with a big company because you're a great author, a great storyteller, and the way that you dig into the lessons of your stories and the way you conveyed such a hard message to get out to kids was done beautifully.
Thank
It was. So a great job, even though the book was great, they saw the hardship of being a sibling of someone with special needs because not everybody sees them. And the parents just keeping it like you're the big brother, that's your gift. And then he watched his parents. He
you.
watched his parents and he saw what they did. And the only way he felt like he could understand was if he said what they said. So your kids are watching everything that you do, good and bad. And so luckily he got the book. So I have one question. I only know one other person named Serafina. Where did you get the name from?
It came into my head, and I looked at the meaning, and I was like, "Oh, it means angel." I was like, "That's perfect." Yeah,
Serafina means
I think it was God.
yes. I do believe. Hi, Marilyn. So I absolutely love the book. So you guys go and support her with this book, Amazon.com or Hope Forman without the E.net. Go to her website, check out her website. Do you have a Facebook page as well with
Yeah.
your book?
Yes, it's just facebook.com/Foreman Hope.
Okay. So look her up, buy her book. I love when people say they'll support the authors that come on Tucked In Tuesdays. So thank you so much. And your kids can read this book to their kids. And Miss Duke said, love it. So perfect. So I'm going to end with my ending that I always say every single Tuesday, and then hope you can leave with something. You can leave them with a message as well. If nobody else tells you, Dr. George loves you. Hope, do you want to leave them with anything?
Don't be afraid to dream. And thank you so much for watching.
Thank you so much. And I have to tell you guys one funny story. Hope, I had to cancel that Tuesday because I was sick. And so Hope said, did something in my book offend you? And I said, I never even read the books until the night of. I have no idea what your book's about. And so I don't open the book until the night of. That's why I thought it had pages after, because I want you guys to feel what it's like if I mess up on a word or you hear Dr. George struggling and the author has to correct me. It's okay to mess up on words. It's okay to mess up when you're reading, but don't stop. You keep going and you ask for help if you need it. I'll see you guys next Tuesday at 7:30. Good night, guys. Love you guys.